Okay, you guys, so in this video I wanted to talk a little bit about this method that I often use for dynamic figure drawing, like quick gestures. No, not even gestures, but like a quick sketch of a figure drawing. That is to say that it's, something that's like more non-committal and where you're just kind of like warming up for your real like figure drawing session, so to speak. But so anyway, this method that I use involves uh, basically just a circle and another circle, or I guess I should say a sphere rather, right? Because this, when you're looking at it like this is just a flat circle, but if you put like crosshairs around it and describe the form of it with like curved lines like this, you could more clearly see that the form of a sphere. But so that's kind of what I'm picturing when I draw this circle. And so this circle, this big one here is the torso, or at least it to me it represents the torso, and this little one, oh, I wanted to do that, is the head. Okay. So these are the two, to me, the most important, well, not the most important, but I should say this is what I start off with every single figure drawing. And so the idea here is that, so actually what I'm going to do is I'm just going to demonstrate real quick, and then after I'm done, I'll explain to you a little bit about what is so special about these two circles. But so, okay. So I'm just going to do a random one here. Okay. Here we go. I feel like I'm speed running this. The foot. Okay. You know what? Maybe we can move that up a bit. All right. So I'm done with this this figure drawing here. And so this whole drawing came from just these two circles. So it started off as this, right? Started off that way, and I got that. And so you may be asking, okay, so why the circle, or rather the sphere? What is so important about those two things? So to me, the way that this works is that Drawing the big circle as the torso and the little one, well, that was a little too big, but so a little one for the head. The way that I imagine it is that it employs the principle of overlap, which I'm sure most of you know, but for just a quick example, if I have a square, a crudely drawn square in this case, and a circle, I put it sort of intersecting the line work of that square. If I erase the part of the square that was sort of inside of that circle, you can see the circle shape. Oops, the circle shape is overlapping that square, and so you can see, or you can tell, that it's in front of the square. That is the basic principle of overlap. And so the reason why it's so important is because this clearly illustrates two things. The angle that you're looking at, well, actually, I guess these two things are like the same thing technically, but it's the angle and the perspective of this thing. So if I were to draw another square and draw a circle just within it, this sort of doesn't really, well, I mean, there is an angle and a perspective, and that angle and perspective is if you were looking at it dead on, right? And so these two circles, where it comes to the human figure, is if so like I was just saying, if I put it in the center here, if you could imagine that this is like a top-down view. So this is like a bird's eye view. So I'm like right directly above the figure. This is the head, and the big one is the torso. So when I'm looking at it like this, I can say that this point is the chest, and that point is the back. And so hopefully you can see that what I'm trying to get at is that the little circle and the big circle are both telling me the angle and the perspective of the figure that I'm about to draw, in the way that if this was top down, if I put it over here, the little circle that is, and erase a bit of this like I just did for this figure, now this is a different perspective. This is like a different pose. The same way if I put the circle over here, or overlapping over here, that is a different pose. And if I drew the circle above it, and instead of cutting the line work from the bigger circle, I cut it from the little one. Oops, that was kind of ugly. This is a different perspective altogether. And so that is the idea that I'm going for, or at least that is the train of thought here with this big circle, little circle approach. And so, for example, with this one, say, or rather, actually, let me back up for a second before I even do another drawing. So the circle, like I was saying, why the circle and not like a box? because I'm sure, like, if you've ever looked up, well, really anywhere on the internet, like, how to draw a figure, you probably heard the advice of, like, using a box mannequin with, like, boxes and cylinders, sort of like, you know, something like, you know, really simple here. And then, like, the head or whatever. And then you'd have, like, cylinders coming out of there. A ball joint. Actually, that's, I was like doing my thing there. But so, you know, this sort of thing, essentially, you probably come across the advice to do it this way. And for me personally, this is fine, right? This is, in fact, this is probably a good exercise for just perspective in general, because you know, the box is like the king exercise for trying to, oh my god, it keeps doing that. Whenever you see, like, kind of a jitter like that, it's the glove that I'm wearing, and it's like touching the screen, and it's registering as like my finger, like if I'm trying to adjust it with my finger. So whenever, like, you see kind of like that, a lot of the time it's not even me. But so anyway, but so yeah, like I was saying, the box is like king, like I was just saying, king exercise if you're trying to learn just perspective in general, not even like figure drawing, but just trying to understand how perspective affects just a shape. You really can't go wrong with boxes, and or conversely, the reason why I don't personally like to practice figure drawings using boxes, at least anymore. I know I'm not gonna sit here and say that I've never done it, and I used to do it in my early days, but so these days I like to use circles, or spheres, I should say. I keep saying circles, but I'm really, imagining them as spheres. The reason why I use spheres is because a sphere, not only is it, if you're imagining a sphere like I was doing before, like it's like you could put a line or an oval through every direction, and it's like the ultimate 3D form. And to me, a sphere is very easily malleable. That's kind of where, because it's curvy, inherently it's curvy there, right? So a sphere, there's no straight line anywhere on this shape. Not here, not here, not here. It's just one big curve. And the reason why that is so important, in my opinion, for dynamic figure drawing is because it sort of repurposes, or not even repurposes, but it's reinforcing this idea or the principle of gesture. Because gesture drawing, and I'm sure you've heard me once or twice say that you need to practice gesture drawing, and for some reason it's like the ultimate, like, no one wants to do gesture drawing, but That that is why I use the sphere, because the sphere is the best, in my opinion. Again, the sphere is the best shape for drawing organic forms, and the human body is organic in nature. We are an organic form, and so I feel like spheres and things that are like ovals, shapes that are inherently curvy, I feel is best applied to figure drawing, because the human body is, for dynamic figure drawing at least, is curvy in nature. That's why when you do a gesture drawing, the point of it is not to be so rigid with it. A gesture drawing, you kind of draw an oval or whatever, and you're trying to be very loose with it, and just kind of getting an idea for the pose that you're looking for. This is like kind of ridiculous. That was so bad, that arm. But so you can see, at least as bad as this drawing is of a figure, at least you can read it, right? You can read the pose. You know exactly what the pose is. That is, and the gesture here is like this, the action line or whatever. There's one there, there's like one here that curves all the way like this. That is essentially the essence of gesture drawing, of the practice of gesture. And so that is why when I use this method, it's very easy for me to picture the perspective and the angle of this figure, because if this, oops, I'm erasing it now. If this is the head, like we've already established earlier, and this entire circle here represents the torso, it already tells me I'm starting off with a lot of information already. Is essentially the idea here, as opposed to looking at a blank piece of paper and having no information, and you're just kind of left there to make it up and figure it out. And so the information here is that if this is the head and it's over there, then I know that the angle, or that this figure, the pose, can be like stretched in one direction. And I can, since the head is positioned there, I know, like I was saying, this point is the chest and this is the back. And so if that's the case, I can take the chest and go all the way down to the bottom of that circle, and then put the line for the back, or rather the line that goes down the middle of the back, and put it all the way to the back of that circle. And so already, if I put like the other shoulder here, already I have like the upper body essentially from this angle, and in this pose I already have it down, right? And so from this point, there are, you can do it any which way, and I've already done like one way with this one. This is essentially the same starting point here. And so I can maybe be like, I can draw another circle here, or like half circle if it was cut off. And I can maybe have it to where he's like stretching his legs out completely like this. Right, in this instance at least. And then this one, you know, you can just kind of keep it simple that way. And also notice that I'm not taking too much time doing this. I'm not really worrying too much about how messy it looks or how lines are going over other lines, like maybe right here, you know, you could clean that up, but then it's like, that's not really the point of what I'm doing here. It's just kind of, like I said before, this is more so for like warming up, like, and I guess it's also a form of like gesture drawing as well. But so you can see here how this is a completely different pose. Well, in some aspects, a different pose from the first one that we did before. And so, for example, with this one, this circle here is maybe a little too big. We can do something like this. So now this is like if we're looking at it from the bottom. I'm like looking up at this figure. And so like maybe to better demonstrate that, I can put like teeth, like a mouth. Right, he's mad. And so here's where I can better demonstrate why the circle is such a good shape for representing the torso, or like the upper body, which is like and when I mean the upper body, this entire circle is like from the collarbone down to the bottom of the ribs. That's what I am picturing in my head. No lower, right? No lower or higher than that. And so if that's the case, with this, I can just sort of come in here and say, okay, if this is the chest, and this character is like, and so, okay, so here we go. So if this is the arm, right, it's stretching out. The armpit, I'm going to use this point where the circle intersects with the line for the chest. The reason why the circle is such a good shape is because I can just follow the form of that circle and continue the drawing that way. So I'm just following. I've already given myself like the blueprint essentially, and so I'm just following the blueprint in the same way that if I then put like a line here to represent the rib cage as we're looking up at it, that is. At this point I can say, okay, this right here is the, oh, not that color. I don't know why it's doing that. Anyway, I can just follow, again, continue to follow the form of that circle that we put down at the beginning, and this is the latissimus dorsi. This is like, you know, back of the delt. And so if this arc here in the middle of this circle, if that is the bottom of the rib cage, which essentially is like wait, that looks like a tooth. This is like basically this arc, right? That's what this is when I mean the bottom arc of the rib cage. So again, if that was the case, I can already sort of say that this space in between is going to be, because you know the rib cage in the middle is are the abs, right? You got the belly button at some point right there. Right, it sits right inside of that arc. And so the rest of the body would be like this, and then that, you know, that whole thing. So finally, without interrupting and interjecting myself so much, I can say this is the belly, this is like the... Actually, let me use black for this. That's the belly button, the belly, and at this point, this is like a very dramatic angle here. And you see how when I just did that, this is like this would be like the crotch. I come up and I'm just following the form of that circle, at least up to these black little lines that I put down, or like dots rather. I'm just following the form up to that. And all of that information I was able to I sort of like gleam from just that circle from the very beginning. And so at this point, you know, to continue this, this is like a very tough to pull off angle here. And in fact, we could maybe like I was saying before, don't worry too much about the way it looks, because that is not the point here. The point is to get it down quickly. But you get the idea here, right? That is the reason why this method is so helpful to me. And it's because of the information that it gives me right at the start of any figure drawing that I attempt. So like, let me see here. If I put the head all the way down at the bottom here, that tells me that this entire circle, all of the space here that's left, could be the back. And so you can like follow, again, see, I just did there is that I followed the form of that circle that I already put down, and that is giving me the shape, the angle of the trap, the trapezius muscle. It's like the one that's right beside your neck. And then from here, you know, the arm or whatever. I don't know, maybe he's like, he's like extending his arms out so as to attempt to fly or whatever. And then the legs at that point, you can say the legs, the feet, whatever, you know. This is like how I'm picturing how this or how the body would look from this angle. We can maybe instead of going straight down, right, we can go all the way, oops, maybe too intense, you know, all the way to the side, and then you know, if we wanted, that could be the entire pose right there, right? And that's one. Oh, let me make it smaller just so it fits. That's one. We can do another one real quick. We could maybe put it there. So the exact same thing. If this is the back, if that's the back and this is the chest, then of course to either side, right or left, this point would be the shoulder, and it doesn't necessarily need to go all the way over there. You can have like maybe the shoulder being like right here, right? It can be placed at any point from there all the way to the end to that big circle, depending on how extreme you want to push this pose. But so for example, if I wanted the shoulder to be like right here, wait, hold on, yeah, we can keep that. Right, any sort of like, I don't know. I don't even know what he's doing here. But so at the bottom here, like I said before, this is the chest. So now this whole area, I'm looking at it as the chest. This would be the back. Maybe like the belly button there. Or you know what, we can actually, I mean, we can keep all that. But we could say that the shoulder is like somewhere here, really pushing this pose. I don't know what kind of pose this is. This is a very weird position. And then from here, I would maybe like put out. Oops. the leg. I guess we can just like extend it down, you know, like this. Nothing, that's a big ass foot. Nothing crazy with that one. And then maybe here he's got it like his toes. Okay, wait. Whatever. But so there, right? And there's another weird ass pose that and you know what? Actually, with this, you can make, well, I guess, you know, whatever, it's fine. It's readable. That's like the point. But so, yeah, like I was saying, there's another pose that I was able to get out of just doing this, just the circle and then another circle for the head and erasing it there. I have all the information at the start of this pose that it makes it easier. My mind is sort of like filling in the blanks. When I look at this, it could either be like his arm is extended this way, and the other one as well, right? This would be the back. This is, and it's already so clear to me, right? I don't really have to think too much about what it may look like. And you see how when I did that, I just did it, this entire upper body is just sitting inside of that initial circle that we drew. And so those circles are informing how I place the rest of the body parts here. Right, maybe this guy's like really extending that foot. But so there, right? That's that's the whole idea there. That is how I use this square, I mean not square, this circle method for quick gesture drawings. Not gesture drawings, but you know. I'm not getting all into it. I'm not even saying anything. So, but anyway. There's another one. And it doesn't even have to be like a really like, I don't know, air quote, even circle it could be, like an oval. Right, and that sort of works the same too. And it all of the same ideas apply when I'm doing this. I'm going to, so if this was the case here, I'm going to follow that oval. For the back there, and then that. Will give me the foot. I can follow the gesture that is created by that oval. And just follow through with that gesture. And like really drive it home. So yeah, that is how, or that is the method that I use often for figure drawing at this point. This is like what I do like 90% of the time. If it's not this, right? If it's not this, then it's me like kind of, you know, which is way harder. You know, from here I'm sort of making up the dimensions of this figure. I'm making up the space between the head there and the back. And, you know, sort of the same pose that I was able to do. This is kind of what I do like normally, which is me kind of just winging it. You know, I should say I'm not going to sit here and say that the circle and then like putting another circle, like that's all it takes. Of course, that's not the case here, because it only gives you so much information. Of course, the rest of the body here that I'm drawing, I have already like an understanding of it. So it could be a little unfair in that aspect. It's like, okay, I draw this circle and the other one for the head, but it's like that doesn't tell you anything about how to draw a leg or like an arm or anything other than just by giving you the position and of the head as it relates to the body, the upper body, which is the inner circle there. So yeah, I am filling in a lot of those blanks. But the point here that I'm trying to get across is that putting those two circles first, it really it really expedites the process. Because, you know, the more information you have at the start, the better off you are. You know, you can keep it that way, or you can make adjustments as you go along. This is like really weird. So there, right? There's another. Well, actually, you can just keep it like that. But like, there's another another pose using that same method. And of course, it is, you know, this is very circular, right? Maybe it wouldn't be as circular naturally. It'd be, you know, a lot more, perhaps, you know, angular. The contour wouldn't be as I'm realizing with every subsequent example that I'm trying to give, I'm like going faster and faster and not giving a shit more and more as I go on here. But the point I'm trying to make is that one of the biggest, I guess one of the biggest proponents to why I do it personally is because, like with gesture drawing, this pose is just as readable as this one that I was doing without drawing that circle first. It is just as readable, and in fact, it's the same pose even. And that is basically, that is the gist of it, you know. That's like the whole thing. I'm gonna like take my glove off now, or my I'm at like 50 minutes. I'm about an hour into this video, but so so I'm gonna end the video there. Oh my god, my throat. Yeah, that is the whole idea behind this. I just wanted to, I wanted to make a video for this week, and I didn't really have an idea. I was like working on clothing, but I wanted to get my thoughts further organized before I did it. I attempted a video on that. So I just said, this is, you know, I was like, this is something that I do all the time. So I figured I could make a video kind of like explaining my thoughts. But so yeah, that's the end of the video. Thanks for watching. I hope you can maybe try this out. Maybe this, you know, it works for you the same way it does for me, and hopefully I was able to explain it in a way that you understand, at least the way that I understand it. But yeah, I will see you guys later. Okay, hi again, you guys. So I'm actually just cutting in here at the very end to tack on a few of the time-lapse videos that I had recorded before filming the actual video that you just saw. So these are of the drawings. First of all, they're of the drawings that are in the thumbnail, and then also a few other drawings as well that I didn't, I guess I will say that some of these drawings are like better examples than the ones that I did in the actual video. And so I'm just gonna let it play out until the very end, till they're all done, and yeah, so I'll just turn the music up. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the video.